All right, here we are again. Trying to get myself a little better centered here. Hello, Karen. How are you? First one in, or first one to comment at least. Hello, Tina. There we go. Now people are starting to pop on. How's it going? Decided to stop by on this Sunday afternoon. Let you talk to a little bit here if you want. Yeah, thanks. I'm glad the flag does look a lot better. We actually just removed the bricks and put a regular flag there. It was less complicated. Weekend's been going all right. It's been a little bit quiet this weekend. You'll have to see what I did yesterday when today's vlog comes out. So that was kind of fun, but I've been just kind of taking it easy a little bit. Storms. Interestingly enough, that hurricane that's coming ashore in Louisiana, one of the rain bands hit us a little bit last night. It rained for about 5 minutes here, and that was it. Then it was over. We got about 1,500ths of an inch of rain, so it wasn't much at all, but we felt it a little. How's the job search going? Any leads? Yeah, I've gotten a couple of things that have a couple of email things that I'm looking into, but nothing serious yet. I'm going to really dig it in a little deeper tomorrow. I think I'm going to go to one of those seminars that I mentioned on networking or something. The state of Texas has some just seminars that are available, and I think I'm going to go to a couple of those, if nothing else, just to kind of get some ideas on what to do. Hello from Australia. Thanks, Billy. Every little bit helps. What am I wanting to do? Basically, I'm looking for some sort of a management gig of some kind. I'm to the point where I don't really want to, you know, be working outside anymore. I've done my share of that, and I'm over that. And the idea of, working outside when it's 50% humidity and 99 degrees temperature, I just don't really want to do that anymore. So I'm gonna, it's gonna be something that just looks interesting, and that's where we're gonna go. We'll just make it up as we go along, but we'll figure something out. Do we have our first troll of the day here? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. That was weird. I didn't block him yet, but if he keeps trolling, we'll do that. I just deleted his message. I don't know. That was a weird way to start the live stream. Not even. We're just 4 minutes into this. Well, he's John Smith may be a troll, but he's got one more chance. If he posts one more stupid thing, he's gone. I'm not afraid doing that. I always think it's funny when they come in here and I tell them, oh yeah, I guess I should be kind of proud that I've gotten to the level of attracting trolls, and then they come and say, yeah, no, you're not that important. And I keep thinking to myself, yeah, why are you here then? No, I missed the Well, I missed the one that happened on the 4th by one day. I flew out of California on the 3rd, and it happened on the 4th. So, yeah, have no regrets about missing that. That was no fun at all. And I've been watching it. There's like 10,000 aftershocks that have happened on or around that fault. So, and yeah, I bet you it was felt at Disneyland. It was felt in San Diego. It was felt in Las Vegas. So yeah, and I know what they do in an earthquake. Everything gets shut down, and everybody gets evacuated from the rides until they do an inspection to make sure anything's safe here. Last thing you want to do is have a ride damaged in an earthquake, and then it break and hurt somebody or kill somebody. Why did I choose Texas? Basically, I've lived in California my whole life, and I wanted something that was just different from California. And Texas seemed about as far away from California as I could get. I'm not really one that's into like cold weather, so the northern half of the country, where it snows a lot, that's not really going to be for me. So it had to be the southern half of the country, and one of the things I was looking for is a little weather. And it's living in a desert all my life. It was such a treat when it rained. I've gotten more rain in the 2 months I've been here than probably in the previous year in California. And this year in California was actually a pretty wet year. So you know, it was that. And the job market. The job market was so difficult in California. That was another big factor. You know, So I don't know. There were a bunch of reasons, but that that basically is them. That's true, Julia. The trolls. They wish they were as successful. Even my limited amount of success, or as successful as like a Jordan or an Adam the Woo or someone. But they're not. I mean, there's one troll that's gone after Adam and Jacob and Jordan and tried to go after me. I don't know. Maybe he did. Uh, and you go look at his trolling site, and he's got 20 videos from over 3 years, and he's got a couple hundred subscribers, and each video has double digits only for views. It just they wish they could be successful, but all they can do is just attack others. It's sad, really. Thanks, Jason. I'm glad that you enjoy the vlogs. They're getting more and more fun to make. So I'll keep doing it for a while. I don't know what's going to happen when I get a job. It may just be a lot more me coming home from work and just talking a little bit rather than going and doing things. But I don't know. We'll play it by ear, see what happens. Thanks, Lou. I'm grateful that you're glad my dad's doing better. My mom's doing. My mom is consistent and improving slightly, but she wasn't the one that was the scare. She had her knee replacement surgery a couple of years ago, and it's just been a long path back. And right now, she still isn't to the point where she's 100% capable of taking care of herself. So that was why when my father had to go into the hospital, I had to go home. It was more to take care of her than to deal with him, because the hospital was taking care of him. But she's slowly on the mend. I noticed this time when I was here that she was a lot more active and doing a lot more things. I saw her on her feet, and, walking around. She's still using her walker, but when I was there even a couple months ago, she very rarely used the walker. At least not as I saw. So I'm glad she's doing better. But she's been doing better constantly for the past couple of years. The whole thing with my dad is just a recent thing. So bought all those extra bottles of water for unloading the pods, and I still had a few left over, so I figured I better start getting them. I don't usually drink them out of the bottles. I usually buy the big 2-gallon jugs and just pour it into a glass. That's just me, though. Thanks, Marguerite. I'm glad that you found you find the job hunt interesting. I wasn't sure if that would be interesting at all. And when I saw I was going to put 2 days of it up, I said, "Oh man, I'm going to have to throw a little meat in that broth there in order to keep people coming back." So I hope you like what I put up today. It was a fun one. It's something that people have been requesting for a while. So, has my parents' house ever had any earthquake damage? I don't think so. They didn't have any from this particular earthquake, but there have been several, good-sized earthquakes in California since my parents have lived in that house, and I don't think there's ever really been any damage. They were so far away from it this time that it was just kind of a rolling action by the time it got to them. My mom says I don't think she even felt the first one. How are the cats? I haven't seen them much. Sometimes Bite will come down and visit when he hears talking, but so far, not yet. Um, I don't know. We'll see. They're usually napping at this time, but a lot of times when I do a live stream around this time of the day, Bite will come down and say hi. So maybe he will. We'll see. Bambi from Abilene. I'm still not sure where a lot of these cities are. I lived in California all my life, so you say, some city that's a long ways away, I can say, oh yeah, I know where that is. That's up by San Francisco. That's up by Sacramento. I still don't know Texas well enough to do that yet, so probably have to get like a state map with just all the cities on it. Yeah, not surprising that even Lake Arrowhead felt that 7.1. 7.1 is a big quake. That's probably the biggest one that's been in California since, I don't know, Silmar in the 70s, I think. Yeah, I don't remember. Because even like Northridge, I think that was only like a 6.3, which is a lot smaller. And what was Whittier Narrows? I don't remember that one either, what that number was, but that was a good sized one. Well, you're right, Kathy. That's what I kind of try and do. I like to get to the point, and get over with it. I was thinking about this the other day. It reminds me of something my mom told me once that one of her college professors said. The question was, how long does our report have to be? And the college professor's answer was, well, it has to be long enough. It's got to be like a woman's skirt. It's got to be long enough to cover the subject, but short enough to be interesting. So yeah, hopefully I hit that comfortable balance. 6.3 in Australia. I didn't even know you had a lot of fault activity there. That's interesting. I'll have to look that one up. I mean, I guess I've seen them offshore. Was it actually on land or was it offshore? Was my father an engineer at an aircraft company? Yes. When I was growing up, he worked for McDonnell Douglas building commercial airlines. And about when I hit high school, I think he switched over to Northrop and worked on the stealth bomber. So yeah, that was kind of fun. Well, it was a black project when he first started, so we knew he worked on some sort of an airplane just because it was Northrop. But we had no idea what it was, so it was very exciting when it came out. I got all sorts of cool memorabilia and stuff like that from when the project was revealed to the public. So I got that. Maybe I'll show you that someday. I think that's in the storage locker right now. Do I think I'll do any paranormal type vlogs? I don't know. I'm a real serious skeptic about that. You may remember that I went and did a live stream with Jordan uh, on that at that haunted house just down the hill from the Manson house, and I came away from that with more doubts and being more skeptical than when I went into it. It seemed to me everything that he said that he presented that was evidence of that he said was evidence of ghost activities. I could reproduce like my stomping on the floor or something like that. and it isn't necessary. I didn't see anything there that I couldn't explain. So I don't know. I guess I'd have to believe it a little bit in order to go into it, because otherwise I'd just be trashing the whole thing the whole time. But yeah, no, I'm real a skeptic. I've never seen anything like that that I can't explain. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd do that or not. Yeah, but even at the time, the even the shape of the airplane was a secret. We had no idea it was a bomber. We didn't know what kind of plane at all it was. And so when it came out and it was that bat plane looking thing, which was just a an old version of the flying wing from back like during World War II. They actually went back to that again. So yeah, a lot of stealth technology still is secret, but it was a lot more secret then, because I mean, we knew nothing about it. In fact, in the original rollout, they wouldn't even allow cameras behind the thing because they didn't want anyone to see what the engines look like. I got this little plastic model thing that's probably 8 inches across. It's a model of it that they gave away at the time. And when you look at the back of it, it's very plain. They didn't want anyone even to know what the engines looked like. So at the very beginning, it was even more classified. Yeah, I think my father really enjoyed working on that too. He's very proud of that because out in the room when I was doing the live streams when I was in California, that was all of his nautical stuff. But you go into his office and it's all stealth bomber. It's all stealth bomber stuff, pictures and models and stuff like that. He's very proud of that. Yeah, that's basically what it was, PDXer. It was a wing. I think what they discovered is back when they originally built the flying wing back during World War II, that it was so difficult to control, and that was why they kind of abandoned it at the time. But when they started playing with it again, I think it was because computer technology had grown to the point where you could control all the flight surfaces automatically and keep the thing in the air. It seems to me at one time I heard someone say, I don't know, maybe it was my father, maybe it was someone else, say that if the computer on that thing ever crashed, the airplane would crash too. Yeah, Bambi. Yeah, I'm looking for the right map for that. I used to have a world map hanging on my wall in the house in California, so it's not even a new thing for me. Have I ever met Leonard? No, no, I didn't. I was aware of him just on kind of the edges because I saw him post occasionally, but didn't really know him or know really how special he was to Jordan until he passed away. I went and kind of had to go look and figure out exactly what happened, because the first I heard about it was when Jordan did his vlog on it. And so I started kind of tracing back, and I guess somebody posted on the Facebook page, I think yesterday, a a quote from him, and that allowed me to kind of trace back. And when I looked at his timeline, I could see the whole timeline of what happened. Apparently, what happened is he went into the hospital and on like the fourth, and for some surgical procedure, and he just never came out of it. He just went into a coma and died. Really sad, very young. Yeah, I saw a video of a stealth bomber crash. Is that the one where they were launching like a couple of them, and like the second one just kind of goes up and then just kind of crashes? I don't know. or have there been more? I saw one once. Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe I'm a skeptic, Lauren, just because I haven't seen anything myself, and that might just because I've always lived in new houses. And nobody ever died in any of them. So maybe now that I'm in Texas and there are houses here that are 50 or 100 years old, maybe my minds will be changed. But so far, I haven't seen anything, and I can only believe what I see. Do I and my kitties miss Spunky Jaw? I miss Jaw, but I got to see him just like a week and a half ago, so I'm not too much into withdrawals yet. The cats, no, they don't miss him at all. That was never going to be a relationship that was going to work out well because Jaw's first instinct is to chase, and their first instinct is to run. So yeah, that wasn't a match made in heaven by any means. But I miss him. Will you get a Texas drawl? I don't think so. The truth is, I can count on the fingers on one hand the number of times that I've been here in the last 2 months where I've heard somebody that I heard thought had a noticeable Texas drawl. I don't think it's really that big a thing anymore. I think there's enough people like moving and moving to one place and moving to other places that people are a lot more portable now, and I think that kind of tends to dilute things out. At least like regional things like dialects and stuff like that. I'll only live in new houses. See, it might be different with me. I might enjoy actually having a house that's a bit of a fixer upper. You've seen what I've done around this place, and there I'd at least be able to put a little bit of money into it because hey, now it's my place. And oftentimes you buy something like that, and if it's a little bit run down or needs a little work, that's just grounds for negotiating a slightly lower price, which gives you a little bit more money to work on. So thank you, Heinz. I appreciate that. It's like what you want to believe. Well, um, I'll make it. I'll say this. I'm open to having my mind changed. Right now, that's where I am. So yeah, if I see something, I'll reevaluate my position. But right now, I haven't seen anything that convinces me that there are ghosts at this point. Who knows? There's a lot of people who say there are, but do I like ghost stories? What, like the TV shows, or just like spooky movies and stuff and books? I mean, if you're talking the latter, like scary movies and stuff like that, I love them. Scary books, and stuff like that. Like ghost hunter shows, I've given them a chance, but I don't know, not really into them. Not really my thing. That's it. Yeah, to each their own. It's what you're into and what you aren't. And what have I liked the most about Waco? I like the people. The people are really nice. The food is good. I've been eating really well. Um, you know, uh, everything's less expensive here. Gas is less expensive. I know you only asked what do I like most, but those are all good things. I've really enjoyed just being here. It's yeah, okay, the weather kind of sucks a little bit, and that'll change. But that was sort of what I wanted to um, get away from in California was that the weather was always just one way. And yeah, okay, it's hot and humid now, but you know what? That hot and humidity brings in a lot of rain. So, and I like it when it rains, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens this winter. So, yeah, you're right, Marguerite. I don't think it's just Texans. I think it's a Southern thing. There's just that Southern hospitality is real, and they're just, certain people are just raised different and they're raised to be nicer. And of course, the only thing I have to compare it to is California, and I think it's a lot of the problem with California is that there's just so many people sardined into such a small area that even if even if it's one, even if the odds are only it's one person and it's 100 that's a jerk, when you have 1,000 people bunched in together, you're going to have 10 jerks there. And so I think, putting people into, tight spaces and cramping them together like that, that kind of makes them more aggressive and more inconsiderate and more rude and all that. Texas has what, 1/10 the population of California and it's 3 times the size. Yeah, I mean, I'm just, there is sort of a trickle down effect. Somebody is rude to you, then you're rude to someone else, and it's like a just branches out from there. It's like a virus, and when there's fewer people around you, it isn't as much an issue. Have I found any amusement parks in the area to vlog? No, but I gotta admit, I kind of had my fill of amusement parks for a while, so that may happen at some point. I know that there's Six Flags over Texas, and I'd like to check that out. I went there once, like 30 years ago. It'd be interesting to see what that's turned into, but I'm not even really sure where it is relative to me. So, it might happen at some point, but not for a while. Thanks, Vianney. Appreciate that. Hope I didn't slaughter your name. I'm horrible with some names. Vina? Okay, is that right? I want to get it right, because if you've been a regular viewer of mine for a long time, so I want to at least be able to pronounce you. VNA? It's like DNA, so like VNA? Okay, I can handle that. VNA, okay. Perfect. I hope I remember that. Well, if it's like DNA, then I should be able to remember that one. Very cool. Thank you, VNA. And I guess now looking at the spelling, I can see how it could be pronounced that way. They like to talk too fast in the South. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't run into that yet, or maybe I just know my sister, who talks really well, talks really fast like that, and maybe I'm just used to it. How was the soup? Okay, all right. The soup was really good. I'm still working on it. I'm not even halfway through it yet. That's the beauty of it is, I made 4 large containers of it, and 2 of them are still in the freezer. I just broke open one of them yesterday, so we're doing good. I'm gonna be eating that for a few more days yet. Yeah, the Italian food was good. The Italian restaurant was good. I've decided, I'll leak this here, that I'm going to do once a week. I'm going to do a restaurant review vlog. So I actually went out and did another restaurant review today. I'm actually a couple of days ahead on the vlogging, so you won't see it until Tuesday. But I think that's going to kind of be my routine. On Sunday, I'm going to go do a restaurant review vlog, and I'll do that because they're relatively easy to do. They're easy to cut together at the end, and then when I can go and do a live stream in the evening. So get two things for once. So yeah, did another restaurant review today. And like I said, you'll see that in a couple of days. It was a Tex-Mex place locally here. That's as much as I'm going to say, though. You'll have to wait until Tuesday to see. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what the time traveler fly. I'm sorry. I'm not sure what that is. Time traveler. Whoever. Thank you for the super chat. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Time traveler okay, I tried. Yeah, I bet the pizza is really good too. Like I said, they have that brick oven that they were using, and so I'll definitely go back and check that out. Yeah, I was surprised how many people said they had Texas Roadhouse all over the country. I guess it's a chain. I've never heard of it. Must not be out in California yet, but seems to be a Midwest kind of thing. Midwest and East Coast kind of thing. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry I slaughtered it, but I gave it a shot. Ruby's barbecue. I'll have to try that. Yeah, because I like good barbecue, and I want to try all this stuff. So, because I think that's in terms of going out to restaurants, it's been mostly just barbecue's been the thing I've hit the most. Okay, it's a deal. I'll just say time travel. I can deal with that. I know how to pronounce that. They had one in Sac. I assume that's Sacramento. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm seeing Texas. I'm seeing New York, Maine. So yeah, that's like I've seen people like say from Ohio, in the comments and all that. So yeah, it must, like I said, it sounds like a Midwest thing and an East Coast thing. And maybe they tried it in Sacramento and it just didn't fly. So who knows? Yeah, I like the "that's not how it's done" thing too. That was actually Jordan's idea. He said, "Yeah, you ought to come up with like a sign, like one of those signs that they have in stores to say, it's been so and so days since there's been an injury." He said, "Yeah, you ought to come up with one of those for since it's been a that's how it's done. That's not how it's done" thing." And yeah, and it just kind of built from there. I don't do it every day, but I do kind of keep track of the numbers. So if you don't see it at the beginning of the day, that probably meant that either I had something else going or just there was nothing to do, regarding that. Lone Star Cafe, or yes, Lone Star Cafe up in Canada. That sounds good. Well, I mean, and if it's a Lone Star Cafe and the owner is a Texan, it's got to be good, right? Okay, Indiana. There's another place. Midwest, definitely. So yeah, can we get any confirmations of any Texas roadhouses on the West Coast, like California, Oregon, uh, Washington, like that area? Yeah, I don't remember the address exactly, but I think that's the one I went to. Yeah, I hit that about, I don't know, maybe you missed that vlog. I hit that. the night that I unloaded the last pod about a week ago. So yeah, if you missed that, I think that is the one I went to. Like I said, I don't remember the address, but how many? That's doesn't sound like the kind of thing that's going to be like a McDonald's where they have 40 of them in the same city. It's one of those things you have one in the city and then you have one elsewhere. So I'm probably sure that's probably where it was. Tennessee. Okay, yeah, Jordan's aunt has one in Idaho. So that's getting close to West Coast. Well, Corona, California. Okay, there's an official one. So yeah, I guess they are on the West Coast. I haven't really thought about it, so I'll have to go check it out. Go Google it and see what happens. See where they are. Long Beach, California. Okay. Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. That doesn't surprise me. That's East Coast. I've been to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. I used to work for a company, We Manufacturing, that had a big CD manufacturing facility in Scranton. I think they're Cinram now, or at least they turned into Cinram. I don't know. Maybe Cinram went under or something. I don't know. I haven't really looked. Lawton, Arizona. Okay. None in Oregon, I guess. Temecula. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they're in California. Not even have to look it up on Google afterwards. I got you guys doing all the work for me. Thanks. Honestly, I haven't worn the new Skechers yet. I kind of want to wait for a good thing. It's not one of those things I want to go be out, you know, mucking around in the dirt when I'm doing it. I just figured I wanted to get a new pair of shoes for work, so that when I do get a job, I can go in and have nice pairs of shoes, because my nice shoes now have kind of started to become my ratty shoes, because I've worn them enough that especially when I was like unloading pods and stuff like that. But they got some scuffs and they got some dirt, so it's just time to get some new one. Do I like Chinese or Mexican? Mexican, definitely. Chinese isn't bad, and I don't hate it. It's just it isn't filling for me, and so I like food that sticks with you for a little while. Mexican definitely does that. And growing up in California, I can't help but love Mexican food. Watching me drink water. Okay, another one in Pennsylvania. Yeah, two in Oregon. I thought we heard a minute ago that there were none in Oregon. That's cool. I'm glad they're actually on the West Coast. Then it's not that it's an internet or a national thing, because it's a good thing. Everyone, for those of you who are in the U.S., if you get a chance, go check them out. It's fantastic food. Pace of life a little slower in Waco. Yeah, I think it is, and I think that's what I really look why I really like Waco too. I think um, when I was young, my grandparents lived. My father's parents lived in the suburbs of St. Paul, but my mother's parents lived in a small town in northern Minnesota called Babbitt, and then later moved to a small town called Graham in kind of central Minnesota. And I always loved the feel of that small town when I would go to either Babbitt or Graham. And I think that's one of the things I see here. One of the things that wasn't any good about it is there was like nothing there. There was like, there's a grocery store, there was like a pizza place, and a bowling alley, and that was all there was. So that's not too cool. It's not no fun to have to drive 20 miles to get anything. But what I saw is that Waco has that kind of small town feel, and yet still has all of the basic things you need, to get along here. 460 Texas roadhouses in 49 of the 50 states. What's the one that doesn't? Is it Hawaii or Alaska? I guess Hawaii. Or did it tell you? None in Hawaii. Okay, yeah, that would have been my guess. Oahu's nice. I got a friend that lives on the Big Island on the Kona side, and somebody who loves geology, Hawaii is a great place to go. I especially like the Big Island because of the active volcanoes. And, we I think last time I went there, we actually walked out onto the lava plain, got out, and were able. This was before that most recent eruption, and we were actually able to get out, and look into where the lava tubes were, where there were like active lava tubes and stuff like that. Yeah, Big Island is the youngest island. That was always something that fascinated with me, is that's what's happening, is that the tectonic plates, there's like an area underneath of magma that's like really hot, and as the tectonic plate moves over the hot spot, islands are burning up, and then as it moves away, that island stops growing and eventually erodes into the ocean, and a new one pops up. And if you look at actually the underwater geology, um, if you look at the underwater geology around Hawaii, it's not just the islands that are above land. You can see that there's many, 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 many more land islands that were formed millions and millions of years ago and have eroded away. And in fact, there's actually a new island forming now off kind of the southeast coast of the Big Island. They call it Lawihi, and they think that'll pop up in, I don't know, a few 100,000 years or something like that. I don't remember what the last number was. It did erupt on the Big Island. It didn't cover much of the island. It increased the island mass quite a bit. But yeah, basically, there's, it was all the kind of the eastern side of the island, because that's where the real active volcanoes are. Everything else has moved away from the hot spot and is basically kind of just going extinct now. Hey, am I seeing that there are two Texas roadhouses in Germany? Wow. Is that a trophy behind me? But this thing? No, this is something that a one of my neighbors in California made for me. I'm assuming that's what you mean, because that's the only thing I see on the camera. I'm sure you're not talking about my throw pillow. This is something that one of my neighbors made for me. Go back and watch like the first couple of vlogs before I moved. I tell the whole story of that thing. Yeah, you're right. Volcanoes are fascinating, but I don't like being anywhere near them. I remember when Mount St. Helens erupted in the 80s, and that was, I was like 1,500 miles away from that, and there was ash falling in our house, and it was thick. It wasn't just a little ash here and there. It was like, there was like a half inch of ash cover, at our house. So yeah, it just any job leads yet? Not yet. Not well. I mean, a couple of things have popped up on the radar, and I'm kind of exploring them, but I haven't replied yet. I'm really going to get serious about it tomorrow. They got some seminars with this work in Texas thing that I was doing, and I'm going to go take a look at those. I think one of them's on, making a good impression and strengthening your resume and stuff like that. It sounds like good stuff to do. So I definitely want to go check on that. Hello, Jeff Kidd. Thanks for stopping by. Glad you could make it a little bit. Yeah, May 18th, 1980. I guess that's about right. It was pitch dark there where I was. Where was that? I mean, yeah, I think the sky was red around me, but it wasn't pitch dark. But yeah, I guess if you were really close to the volcano, it was. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. They were all over the place in Central California or in Central Canada, because that's the way the trade winds go. That's where the jet stream is, and that through all of that ash went up into the jet stream. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me that that ended up in, there was a lot more in Canada. Yeah, see, and that, it lit Boston too. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone that seems to be east of it, because that's what happens. The jet stream goes west to east, and so all that debris got thrown up into the jet stream, and it has to come down somewhere. It's real. Yeah, Jordan's in England, I think, right now. What has it made my parents move from Minnesota to Canada? My dad got the job at McDonnell Douglas, and he had just gotten married to my mom, and in fact, I think my mom was pregnant with me when they came out here. Just north of the mountain in Washington. Yeah, okay. No doubt. Then they've blocked everything out. Sorry, I'm getting a little behind here. I got to catch up here. So I talk and then I don't read. So every once in a while, I got to take a break and catch up on what's going on here. Yeah, yeah. Jordan's in London. Yeah, a lot of the fires do the. You're right. The fires do the same thing. There have been a number of fires that were really nearby where I lived in California too. That was another one of the reasons I wanted to get away from California. We're in Minnesota, Breck. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming meaning my parents. My mom, I think probably at the time lived in Babbitt, but I guess she met my dad down in the Twin Cities. I'm assuming that's where the question was. Can I ask what it was you didn't like about working at Disney? I know parade drivers don't have much clearance when driving the floats. Yeah, you have no idea. And the bigger and the longer the float it is, the more of a challenge it is. And it's like driving a big giant bus with really horrible visibility and a bunch of people dancing in front of you. Actually, I really loved doing the float driving, and there was so much I loved about working at Disney. I just didn't like the fact that management wouldn't let you, if they didn't like you, management wouldn't let you grow. And that was my problem. I wanted to move upward in the company. I knew it wasn't, I didn't want to be a float driver. It's fun, but it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life. I wanted to grow within the company, but I had nothing to show after 11 years at the place. And it's like, there comes a point where you just got to cut your losses. I'm everybody, you want to see my feet, right? You want to see that I'm wearing the slippers. I am wearing the slippers. Yes, I am. I now when I go do my live streams, I actually go take my shoes off and put my slippers on just because I know somebody's going to ask. So there we go. We've gone there again. Yeah, they're very comfortable. That's why I wear them all the time. They're comfortable at home. Yeah, Jordan, I think, has been planning the UK trip for some time because he was talking about that a little while ago with me. I know he kind of plays that stuff secret, but I kind of hear some things from time to time. You wanted no shoes. Okay, well, yeah, this isn't that kind of a website. We're trying to keep this family oriented here. Yeah, my slippers are famous now. I know I'm gonna have to give them to a fan or something when I'm done with them. Ew, yuck, gross. The dorky hat that's over there. That thing saved me getting burned to death, though. So, whatever. I don't care if I look like a goof. Yeah, In-N-Out's good too. I like them. They were a mainstay of California. I think there's still a few of them out here, but I haven't seen that many. Yeah, give my slippers their own channel like Jaw has his own. Yeah, these are the slippers in the bathroom. Yeah, these are the slippers in the kitchen. Yeah, these are the slippers in the bedroom. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a pretty boring live stream, though. Just have my slippers. What do I think of that family fight at Disney? It's like, wow, I'm glad I wasn't there. I know exactly where that is too, because that's like, that was Toontown, right out in the middle of Toontown, and yeah, that was wild. That was like, 100 feet from where the parade office was. That was insane. But that kind of thing happens there. I mean, it's happened from time to time, and unfortunately, one of the other times there was a confrontation. You can probably go look this up. It's probably still on YouTube if Disney hasn't made it go away. Um, where it was out in front of Tower of Terror over at California Adventure, and some drunk guy just started becoming belligerent, and I guess the Disney security pepper sprayed him, and it was you know, it was bad news because I think Disney doesn't like security getting aggressive against guests, and so I think a lot of that passivity that we saw didn't it's probably as a result of that other incident. Thank you, Essex. I appreciate that. I'm glad you love the vlog, and thanks for the good luck on the job hunt. I'm going to need it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I could do some funny time lapse stuff with the slippers and tell a story. I don't know. You tell the story of how the two slippers met. Yeah, not really, because you don't want the image of Disney security going around with guns and tasers and stuff like that. They're trying to portray themselves as softer, gentler. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard the one of Pluto, but I've heard of cases where some of the characters fight back. There have been a lot of stories like where different characters will get groped through the costume, or some kid will go and hit them or something like that. That happens all the time, unfortunately. It's sad, but it happens. The seven dwarfs need to take over security. Yeah, maybe. Now you're gonna make me blush, Bambi. Yeah, it is expensive at Disneyland, but it's one of those things that you can go and you can spend a day or two or a week, there, and it's a vacation destination, and there really is a lot to do there. So, it's pricey, but it's one of those things that people plan their whole vacation for, and it's a good attraction. I don't hate the place. I just didn't like the way management dealt with it. I'm glad you clarified that, Bambi. It would be nice to meet a nice Texas lady, though. I could live with that. What's the strangest, funniest thing I ever saw while at Disneyland? I'll go in a different direction. This is one of my favorite memories at Disneyland, um, because it was a fun interaction with some of the guests, and it was also an interaction with some of the local wildlife. And I love animals, so anytime something like that happens, that's fun. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. I was working Phantasmic at the time, and I was part of the crew that did the backstage stuff. We set up the island. We go out there when the island would shut down about 5 o'clock, and we'd get the whole island up. Because what you want to do is you got to put a whole bunch of tarps along the edge of the island so people can't see the costume characters running around like that, and all that. And then we have to open up the fort and get that all ready and get all the vehicles out and moved out and stuff like that. And so what we do is come in about 4 o'clock, get onto the island about 5 o'clock, and get the island basically all ready once ready for the show. The shows were usually at like 9 and 10:30 or something like that, I think. And so we'd get the island ready, and then we'd go off on our lunch break. And we had one of those rafts that they use to transport you back and forth from the island. We had one of those at our disposal to get back and forth, get on and off the island if we wanted to. And this one day I was just gotten off the island, was walking over to one of the cast commissaries, and I heard some guests along the side of the river fretting about the fact that there was a baby duck that was stuck in one of the canoes. This is right next to where you get onto the canoes there. And apparently a baby duck had fallen into the canoe. This was like a really new, young baby duck. It's probably just a couple days old. And when I heard him talking about it, I walked over the edge of the river with him, and saw what they said. There were baby duck in the canoe, and their mama duck was sitting on the dock, obviously trying to figure out what she was going to do about it. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to do something with it. And I kind of worked my way back down to the dock, hopped into the canoe, and of course the little duckling ran to the other end of the canoe. And so I'm in this wobbly canoe trying to not end up in the water. And I carefully move my way up to the front of the canoe. And of course the duckling gets past me and runs to the back of the canoe. At this point, these guests that had originally watched it are still watching. They're just howling with laughter as I chase this duckling back and forth inside the canoe. Eventually I catch it, grab it into my hands, just kind of lift it up onto the dock, and it runs across the dock and jumps into the water and swims off with its mom. And I don't know. That's my favorite Disney memory. I've never really told that one. No one's ever asked. So I hope that was a satisfactory answer. What's the correct term, vlog or blog? Okay, let's talk about that. A blog, B-L-O-G, is something that you write. It's a mashing together of the words web and log. It's like a journal. And so it's usually in writing. And after blogging, they moved on to vlog, and vlog is a video log. So the correct term is vlog with a V. I hope that helps. Yeah, I've heard that rumor too. At the beginning of the summer, there was a little app that we had on our phones that allowed us to tell what the blockout days. We at Disney, when you're a certain status cast member, you get a card that allows you to sign yourself in, and another card that allows you to sign friends in. And there are blockout days for these, but sometimes, especially during the summer, or around holidays or stuff like that, or really busy days, they'll block them out. Well, about May or April, literally every day all summer was blocked out. You could not get into Disneyland if you were a cast member. And I guess just a week or 2 or 3 ago, the attendance wasn't what they were hoping to be, and they opened up a whole bunch of those days, and now cast members can get into can sign their friends in. So yeah, that seems to be confirmed. Yeah, sorry, Shirley, I'm not going to talk. I don't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein. That's just too disturbing. I don't want to go there. This is a family vlog, so Which park is better, Universal or Disneyland? There's different reasons to go to them. In terms of rides and stuff like that, it's always going to be Disneyland because there just isn't that much room allocated at Universal Studios, which is why they have so many of those virtual reality rides. But most of that, is the movie set and the tour, and they got nothing like that from at Disneyland. So if you like the movie tour, you're going to want to go to Universal, and they got some good attractions there too. Didn't get a chance to see Harry Potter Land, but um, it's six of one, half dozen of the other. Thank you, Janet Matthews. I appreciate that. That's really generous of you. Do I think I'll vlog like Jordan? Probably not. I mean, I'm going to do some attractions every once in a while, but it's not going to be the central focus of vlogging like Jordan's is. And that may mean that I have fewer viewers or whatever, because maybe it's not as interesting as someone who goes to this place today and that place tomorrow and the other place the next day and all that. I like that too, but I kind of want to make this my own thing. Disney has made it impossible to take a family of five. Yeah, I suppose I can understand that. It's like I said earlier. It's one of those things you gotta look at it as like a vacation destination, not just like a day trip. Because if it's a day trip, you're right. It's way too expensive unless you really save up for it for a long time. But if you go and get a multi-day pass and stay there and do some of the other tourism in the area, you know what? It can be a great vacation. Yeah, you're right, Mary. That's sort of what it is about Jordan too. A lot of people kind of wonder why it is that he doesn't take their suggestions for things to vlog. Well, because part of what makes Jordan such a great vlogger is he's vlogging what he's interested in. And if he's not interested in the subject, it's not going to be good content. So, that's sort of what I'm trying to do here too. It's going to be some things that I'm interested in, but it's probably not going to be the type of things that Jordan would have done. Yeah, okay, Jordan would have definitely hit the Dr. Pepper Museum, but I don't know if he would have hit that Mammoth Museum that I did. So who knows? Anyone remember the e-ticket? Yes, A, B, C, D, and e-tickets. In fact, they have a cast commissary for employees called the EAT ticket, EAT ticket, and they've got all sorts of like Disney memorabilia on the walls. Yeah, roller coaster, Lisa. You're right. You do get better deals with Disney if you plan in advance. It also never hurts to know somebody who works there because, like I said, they can a lot of times sign you in. When if you're what they call a CR or higher status employee, you get the badge that allows you to sign in your friends, and I think you can do three people a day for 16 days that are non-blockouts, and probably two-thirds of the day of the year are non-blockouts. So it's good. Yeah, the flag does look better. There's still a little bit of wrinkles there, but I'm hoping gravity will deal with that over time. It looks a lot better. It took a long time to get that to look good, though. Yeah, Jordan's really good, and he just hit 70,000, and now it seems to be he's on a tear again with subscribers because he just hit 70,000 just recently, and like he's way beyond that now. So I don't know. YouTube is just funny. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. For my case, I've always been able to point to something specifically and say, yeah, well, that's what did it. Yeah, Jordan gave me a shout out on his live stream. Yeah, Jordan let me post on his Facebook page. Yeah, Jordan, gave me a shout out on one of his vlogs. I can always point to something, or he'll do a live stream and says, "Breck needs your help." Some clickbait kind of thing. That resulted in the biggest day I've ever had. By the way, I got like 900 subscribers in like a 24-hour period there. Wow, Knott's Berry Farm was free. I don't even remember that. And I lived within 5 miles of Knott's Berry Farm for my whole life. The state bug is the monarch butterfly. Geez, I would have thought it was the mosquito or the fly. Yeah, well, that might be fun to see a monarch butterfly migration. That would be a good subject for a vlog, right? Yeah, you're right, Amy. In fact, there's something I heard recently, and I haven't heard anyone that dispels it. Disney apparently has raised their prices every year since the 60s. And, yeah, they keep doing it. They got to pay for all that new stuff. And of course, maintain all the old stuff and keep it all working and all that. Yeah, it doesn't, yeah, 71,000 for Jordan. So, yeah, we'll hit that number within 5 minutes, I'm sure. I've been to Disney World once in Florida. I was back when I was working in the CD world. I was traveling a lot for seminars and trade shows and stuff like that. We had one in Orlando, so I took the opportunity to go visit Cape Canaveral, and I went down to Disney World. Only been there once, and it was a long time ago. Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm is a great place. I almost got a chance to go when I was back in California, but we had that gas leak emergency I had to deal with, and I had to back out. So it would have been fun, but we'll hit that maybe sometime. Yeah, I understand that going to Disney, 5 times a year. I am so over Disney. I think I was really over Disney the first year because within a month of me working there, I got my little blue ticket that allowed me to sign myself in. And I think for the first 6 months or so, when I wasn't working a whole bunch, what I would do is I would literally go to Disneyland like 5 times a week. You know, oh, I'm done with dinner. What am I going to do tonight? Let's go to Disneyland. And I just literally burned myself out on that place. At the end, the past couple of years, I think the only time I ever went was when is when like Jordan or someone wanted to go. I never went for just for me. Yeah, I remember the corkscrew and the soapbox derby racers. Those are both cool. Boy, that was a long time ago. One of my favorite ones over at Knott's Berry Farm was always Montezuma's Revenge. I love the looping roller coasters, and that one went backwards, and that was really cool. Yeah, traveler. I'm afraid you're right, and that I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why uh, whether why attendance is down this year. I've watched both of the Disney Star Wars movies and didn't really like either of them, and I not really sure where they're going with the Marvel franchise either. So yeah, I don't know. They make the Disney's legacy for Star Wars and Marvel. Maybe that they kill the franchise. I don't know. I hope not, but I don't know how much it is new employers call old employers anymore because there's so many laws on the book that limit what the old employer can say. They can't really legally say anymore that you were a bad employee. So I don't know how much that is. So I don't know how much they do it. I think they count maybe on the fact that they hope that the potential employee doesn't know that, and so they ask a question: Do you mind if we call your ex-employer? And hoping that if you don't know that they can't say anything, that you'll reveal something that they can say, oh yeah, no, he wasn't a good employee or something like that. But I don't think you can do that that much anymore, and especially not in California. There's so many rules right now about what employers can do. Have I ever met some famous people? Random encounter. Well, I've run into some people that happen to be the same place that I was when I was out vlogging with Jordan, and that's happened a few times. I met Vincent Price's daughter Victoria. I met the guy who played Booger from Revenge of the Nerds once. That was kind of fun. I met the guy who, what's his name? I can't remember his name now. Who uh, uh, Never mind. I can't even remember his name now. But yeah, I've met a couple of famous people. I got a picture taken with one of the old Speaker of the Houses. I locked on his name too. The recent one, Paul Ryan, back before he was Speaker of the House. Hello, Indiana. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that's what I've heard too, Robert. And I think both basically most companies know that, so they won't even try. They're gonna just try and figure out who you are. I think the big thing they do now is look at your social media. I think that's a bigger thing right now than anything else. And the only thing that I could imagine Disney is going to have against me is just that I quit so abruptly. I didn't even talk to him. Um, I just gave him a written note. Didn't even meet with anyone. I literally just wrote on a sheet of paper, "I quit effective immediately," and left my badge on my manager's desk. Didn't see any of them, and they never even called me. So I'm sure they don't care. Did I get your super chat? Yeah, I think I mentioned it. You sent one right at the beginning, right? Seems to me I got one from you. Sorry, scrolling through the list. Yeah, I see it. Did I not acknowledge it? If not, thank you, Janet Matthews. I did get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, Janet. I did get it. I thought it said something. Maybe, sometimes what happens is when I get rolling on something, I see it, it goes past, and I forgot. But I thought I said something. So I did get it, though. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have I ever done any art? I do some amateur woodwork. That's the closest I would get. I like make some furniture and stuff like that. There's not a whole lot of it here right now. Most of it's in the storage locker. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you ever saw the DVD rack over there, I made that. I don't know if you go back and look at some of the videos of the house. There were a couple of there was like a bar stool counter that I put in the kitchen, and there's two of them actually. One of them kind of an island for preparing, and one of them for actually for eating. I actually made those by hand. Yeah, that may have been what had happened because I do remember seeing it pop up on the screen, and I was talking about something else, and so it might have been like a minute between when it popped up on the screen and when I actually uh, acknowledged it. So maybe that is like I said. I thought it did. I thought I did mention it. Do I like riding roller coasters? Yes, very much. I love them. Yeah, some of these they're all these shows, these best of roller coaster shows, and on like the Discovery Channel or Learning Channel or something like that. I've watched a bunch of those, and it's amazing how many like really great theme parks are in the Midwest. So yeah, it might be fun to go check those out. See, that's the thing I think that would frustrate me is because Disney never gave me a chance to show them what I can do. You guys know more of what I can do than Disney does because Disney had this, your job is this, and you are not to do anything but that. And we aren't interested in anything else. And, that was also what frustrated me too. Fortunately, I had a couple of friends who worked on the floats who knew I was fascinated with that kind of stuff. So, when they needed help, they knew what I could do and would, offer, ask me to come over and help them from time to time. But unfortunately, never really amounted to anything. And that was a big part of the reason why I left. What was the weather like? It was actually a little cooler here today in Waco than it was like for the last few days. They've been predicting like 98 and 99 for the last couple of days. And I think at peak it was only 92. We did have a little rain band come in last night and it rained heavily for about 5 minutes and then it was over. Got about 1500ths of an inch of rain, so it was like nothing, just enough to add to the humidity. But I haven't really noticed if the humidity is any higher. I don't have my weather station hooked up right now, so I don't really know. Oh, you fixed a broken drawer because that's awesome. It was easy, right? It's not hard to do at all. Wow, thank you, Scotty. I appreciate that. That's so generous of you. That's really nice. How are Nibble and Bite? As of this morning, they were fine. I haven't seen them since I got back from doing my vlog today, but it's about time. They should be popping down any time now. Usually about this time the naps are over. You'll have to watch the video that goes up in a few minutes here, in about 45 minutes, and it's a two-parter. It's tonight and tomorrow night, and there were a lot of sleeping kitties there too. That wouldn't surprise me that those coaster shows don't do their homework, but it has shown me some very cool roller coasters that I wouldn't mind going to see. Hi, Deborah. Yeah, putting a drawer on. I mean, you saw how easy it was. It's a little time consuming when you're having to deal with all of the mistakes that other people made. It would have been a lot easier if they just bought the right rails in the first place and put them on correctly. But because I spent most of that time cutting the rails in half and drilling new holes for the screw. Thank you, Deborah. I appreciate that. That's so generous of you. I'm doing a great job. I appreciate the compliment. Howdy, Terry in circles. Why are you in circles? Yeah, that's how it's done. I missed a question someone else is answering for me. Yeah, I worked, whoever that was Amy. Yeah, I worked at parades over at Disney California Adventure driving the floats. Did some stuff on over at Disneyland too, Christmas Parade, Electrical Parade, and Phantasmic. But I was primarily over at California Adventure. Yeah, that's sort of it, Wendy. It is, there's a lot of people that are just way, way, way into the Disney thing who are employees there, and they seem to be very, very happy where they are. But, you know, I don't know, maybe it's just because I went into it never seeing the magic. I remember, I always just knew that that was technology that was doing all that. I remember going and watching parades when I was a kid, and my first thought was, gee, I wonder where the driver is in there. I was the one figuring that out when I was 8 years old. And I was usually pretty good at figuring it out uh, because you know it's got to be somewhere in the front, and they have this kind of wire mesh that they put over it so the driver can see out, but people can't see in. So it's usually pretty easy to figure out. Did I leave Flash with my parents? Yes, I did. Flash is going to stay with my parents until I have a house. I don't have enough of a backyard right now to keep her happy, and it wouldn't be safe for her either. Thanks, Jason. I hope I find the perfect job too. I'm a jack of a lot of trades. I'm not. I know what my limits are. Let's just put it that way. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the vlog, enjoying the channel. Yeah, there's a lot of people that work there. I'm surprised how many people I ran into that I know who work there or have worked there. But Disney is one of the biggest employers in Southern California, so that's not that big of a surprise. Have I ever been on a horse? Yes, been a long time though. Yeah, and that's right. That may be right, roller coaster, Lisa. That not everyone, maybe it's age. Maybe just Disney looked at me and said, "Yeah, you're about 2 decades older than our average employee, and you're just not really what we're looking for." Because although I know some very young people there that have had bad experiences too. What's my dream job? I don't know at this point. It would be something that I love that keeps me interesting, that keeps me interested, and something I can grow with and support myself on. You're going to wear a cowboy hat now? I've been thinking about getting one, not necessarily for regular usage, but just I thought it'd be funny to come onto one of these live streams wearing a cowboy hat and something, who knows? Maybe do the full thing, the vest and the cowboy boots and the spurs and the chaps, the whole thing. Yeah, that's why I kind of looked at manpower and I looked at the state agency. I figured, just have my irons and as many, fires as I can here, and let's see what I can get out. Hmm. Well, there we go. I got a Texas girl telling me I'd look good in a cowboy hat. So there you go. That should be all I need to know, right? I don't know if I rode the Incredible Hulk coaster. I think last time I went um, to Universal Studios was like 3 or 4 years ago with some friends of mine. I don't think it was there yet. What was it was like the Mummy. There was a Mummy roller coaster. There was a Simpsons roller coaster. Well, wasn't really. Well, it was sort of a roller coaster. It was a roller coaster slash virtual reality ride. Yeah, but if I'm wearing boots, then what's going to happen when people are asking me during my live streams if I'm wearing my slippers? That's just not going to work. I'm not really interested in temporary positions, but I did tell Manpower I'd be interested in a temp to perm position or just a perm, right straight to perm. Just because I know that if I get into an employer who's at least open minded, I can prove myself. I can do a lot of things, and I can prove that I can be valuable to an employer. I just need the chance to show them someone who's open minded enough to watch. I mean, I did it in the CD world. I went from a part time janitor to you know running departments. So I can do it. Favorite movie of all time? I don't know if I could name one. I could. I don't know. Maybe I would say that one of the movies that's been on my favorites list for the longest would probably be One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I think that's just a role that there are just so many great characters in that movie. Jack Nicholson was really great, and the woman who played Nurse Ratched was really great, and Christopher Lloyd was in it, and Danny DeVito was in it, and yeah, it was just great performance. Yeah, Nurse Ratched. I'm also I think I mentioned before I'm a Star Trek nerd, so I like the fact that on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the woman who played Nurse Ratched was the same woman who played Kai Wynn on the entire series, and she was kind of an evil character on that one too. she was the leader of her religion, but had kind of evil things and actually turns to the dark side at the end. So yeah, that was a weird segue, wasn't it? Horror movies, favorite horror movies. That's hard to choose too. I like Poltergeist. That's a good scary movie. You're going to the real dark side. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. No, that's not a horror movie. Uh, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is a really really creepy movie. I like all the Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead, Day of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. The remakes. Those are all good. In fact, the Dawn of the Dead, the original Dawn of the Dead, that was one of my favorite horror movies. And I think it's probably the only one I've ever seen a remake of that I actually like the remake better. The remake is way more exciting and way more scary. I'm missing more questions here now. Oh yeah, yeah. Still wearing the slippers. We were talking about earlier about a live stream vlog for the slippers of da 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 dun 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 dun. Sorry. And now I'm moving the computer around here, putting my slippers back on. Oh, I met the real Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. Yeah, the first thing I ever saw Robert Englund in was a TV miniseries called V, and he played an alien named what was I don't remember what his name was, um, but that was such a different character from Freddy Krueger. It was totally surprising to see that transition because he was such a naive and just a kind, gentle person in that, which is weird. But yeah, that's probably one of my favorite horror movies too. Is the Freddy Krueger series. Especially in terms of the three big slasher films of that time, which are what Friday the 13th, Halloween, and Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street, I think, slays the rest of them. Just because Freddy Krueger, was amusing to watch. He wasn't just horror; he was horror and humor, which is kind of funny to watch those two things get blended together. What do I think of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies? I liked the first one. Um, the second one, I liked the storyline about Khan, but that whole sign at the that whole scene at the end where they reversed the Star Trek Wrath of Khan scene, where Kirk is dying and Spock is outside, and they're doing the whole ship is out of danger. Needs the mini outweigh. That whole scene. I hated that. That was painful to me when I saw where they were going with that. And then there's this big plot hole at the end. They basically saved Captain Kirk's life with Khan's blood, and really, they cured death, and yeah, they blew that off. Nothing to that. Yeah. So I don't know. Whatever. That one. That movie. The second one did bug me. The first half of the movie I think is really great, but I don't know. The second half just bugs me, and that scene that death scene for Kirk is just painful to watch. And as for the original Star Trek, big fan of all of them, really. The original, the Next Generation, and those two spin-offs, and even the prequel, Star Trek Enterprise. I like that one. I haven't really gotten into the other ones. Um, Somebody just texted me here. Oh, it's Jordan. Yeah, that was Jordan. Never saw Freddy Krueger, but Jason and Michael scared you. Yeah, I remember seeing all those movies in the theater. They were great. Yeah, if your big brother's a Captain Kirk fan, that's the way to go. Yes, it was. V was for visitors. But see, that was all the propaganda. Is that the aliens when they came to Earth, they were the visitors and all that. And at the end, uh, the resistance kind of takes over and culturally appropriates the V and turns that into victory. Oh, Jordan's in the house. Bonjour, Jordan. Glad you get stopped by, buddy. Haven't had any really trolls here. We had a couple of comments we had to delete early on that didn't really make any sense, but you have all the Star Trek Barbies. Wow, that was two product merging that was a product merging I've never heard of. Star Trek Barbie, huh? Okay. Yeah, I like Wrath of Khan too. The first one was slow and boring. I liked Wrath of Khan. I liked Search of Spock. I actually do like the one now about the dolphins, but I didn't really like any of the ones after that until they started getting into the next generation ones. And I like Generations, and I think probably my favorite one is First Contact. It's funny, I've been plowing through the Star Trek Enterprise series lately, and they do a dark version of that, um, where it starts off, where it's taking place in an alternate universe, where everyone's evil, and it starts off with the scene at the end of Star Trek First Contact, where Zefram Cochrane is meeting the Vulcans for the first time, and rather than meeting him in peace, he pulls out a shotgun and kills and then they take over the ship, and that's how that episode starts. But yeah, I like the yeah, I like the in terms of the Star Trek movies, I like those, um, and pretty much all of them, all of the next generation ones were pretty good. I like Star Trek Insurrection. That's one of my favorites, and probably the last one where they killed off Data, which whatever that one was, with the Romulans. Not really so much into that one, but that one's got its moments too. Ziggy Stardust Barbie. I guess I could understand that. Yeah, I haven't seen Jordan's Queen vlog yet, but a lot of people are talking about that one. That one's really good. Looking forward to that one. Yeah, I've seen all of the Star Wars movies. I mean, there was like the one called Solo, and there was like the side movies, and I haven't seen those. But in fact, the people I've talked to says those two side movies are actually better than what was it? Star Wars, Clone Wars, or something, and Solo. I've heard those are actually better than the two that were released. I've not really been that impressed with the two that were released. Did I ignore your question, Jordan? Have I ever owned a Star Trek costume? Be honest. If so, which character? No, I have never done that. Sorry, Jordan. Yeah, I think you were trying to be a troll me on that. You're trying to troll me on that one, weren't you? Get me to embarrass myself, reveal something embarrassing that I was a Star Trek nerd. You already know I'm a Star Trek nerd, but no, I don't do any of the cosplay stuff. Yeah, but the male lead being a hunk isn't that much of an attracting factor for me. Sorry, Jenna. Yeah, I've heard that Solo was good. I don't know. I think it's on Netflix. Maybe I'll have to check that out some point. Yeah, he did ask a question. He asked me if I'd ever dressed up in a Star Trek costume, and if so, which one? So, which costume do you have, Celia? You have the costume, you have the phaser, the communicator, and I assume you mean a tribble. Yeah, I watched Walking Dead a bit. That I kind of lost interest in that. I don't know. It might be something might go back to at some point. But after I fixed everything, I can do a bunch of cosplay stuff. Yeah, I'm sure I'll lose my audience real quick. That I gotta quit. If I did that. Well, I was hoping it was a tribble. I didn't. Not a trimble either, huh? Oh, Debbie, give him a break. That's why we like him here. As he comes in here, he mixes things up. Well, it's good. It's yeah, the trouble with tribbles. Yeah, it's not the trouble with troubles, and it's not the trouble with trimbles. It's the trouble with tribbles. So I move the mouse here. Yeah, I watched Walking Dead for a while, about until they got to the point where they were in that prison and trying to protect themselves in there, and I kind of lost interest at that point. In the Star Trek uniform and my slippers. Yeah, I'm sure that will be that'll go over well. What's a trimble? I don't know what a trimble is. Tribble was a small alien on the Star Trek series, and he's made appearances on, and they've also made appearances on Deep Space Nine, was it, and Star Trek Enterprise. But basically, it was a small animal um, that basically did nothing but eat and breed. And basically, every time if you feed them, you end up with a bunch of tribbles, and then there's thousands, then there's millions, then there's billions of them. And tribbles don't like Klingons, apparently. Yeah, yeah. When you squeeze them, it makes kind of a purring noise. Apparently, the only reason, according to Star Trek Enterprise, the only reason they survive, that they're not just eating themselves out of existence, is that they live on a planet where the natural predators are so high that they keep the population in check. But without those natural predators, they just. Yeah, I knew I had to do something with the flag. So many people were saying, "Yeah, it looks like they're made out of bricks." Yeah, there actually were bricks at one point. We pulled the bricks out because that's not how it's done, and we replaced it with a regular flag. Yeah, I did. I'm surprised Jordan's still up too. When I did the live stream, I didn't even tell him about it this time because I figured, yeah, it's the middle of the night there. So, well, that's cool. I'm glad he was able to stop in. And we're giving feedback to Jordan on the game here. Thank you, Jeff Kidd. I appreciate that. That's really generous of you. Thank you so much. Cecilia's sister-in-law made the costumes. I mean, I'm assuming it's at the Star Trek costumes. Is that just the regular Federation crew uniforms, or is it something else like Klingon costumes or Romulan costumes or Borg costumes? From Jordan's original neck of the woods. Okay, yeah, I've been to Ohio. Ohio's a nice place. That was actually one of the places I was thinking about uh, moving when I started this whole thing. Originally, Jordan's stepdad was talking maybe about me coming to work at his company, but that just kind of fell through and didn't really amount to anything. So, and I don't know how well that would have worked for me anyway. That was a little too far north for me. I'm not really a huge fan of, like I said, too cold. I'm willing to deal with a little bit of cold here, but and maybe a little bit of snow. But I don't like places that freeze over like for 4 months a year. That's just too much. Yeah, I remember Star Trek in prime time, but I wasn't really into it at that point. I got into it into the reruns. Yeah, that's probably the best description because they have no head, no tail, no legs. It's an oversized cat toy. Yeah, that's what a tribble is. That's probably the best way to describe it. About the size of a medium-sized potato. Shawshank Redemption, yeah, that was good. I liked the book, and then the movie was really good. Yeah, Debbie, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have been a huge fan of Ohio weather. I made the mistake one year of visiting my uncle in northern Minnesota in January, and yeah, I'll never do that again. It was like 30 degrees below zero, and just walking from the cabin to the car, it hurt to breathe. It was so cold. I can understand why people spend their entire life in the bars in Minnesota. Who's my favorite James Bond and why? Um, I don't know. I kind of move back and forth. I think probably my favorite at this point would have to be Roger Moore. Roger Moore always made me laugh. The rest of them were very, very serious, but you know, it almost seemed like Roger Moore would just occasionally look at the camera. It's like, yeah, okay, I get the joke. And I liked his humor, even though he was probably the least macho of any of the Bonds. Um, I liked his episodes, and I liked some of the stories, that revolved around him. Some of the enemies he had to deal with. My favorite Bond episode ever was the Moonraker one because I love anything space related, and I love the character Jaws. He was always one of my favorites, and Odd Job, which was the guy that had his hat that he would throw. There's just so many of the I think really good ones. I think the James Bond franchise kind of came into its own about the time Roger Moore entered the scene. I love Sean Connery. He's great in all of them, but he was more serious, and I think it was a different time. Because Roger Moore came in like the early '70s, and prior to that, James Bond was more of a formal character. And it's funny now because you watch Roger Moore today. Roger Moore's got or not Roger Moore. You watch Sean Connery now. He's got an amazing sense of humor. That would have worked in very well with James Bond. But like I said, it was a different time. That was '50s and '60s, and that was a whole thing. Hmm. Yeah, that seems to be happening a lot. For some strange reason, no one spell check knows what a tribble is. Who'd have thunk? Thanks Terry and Circles for coming by and saying hello. It was good to have you here. I'm going to wrap this up in a few minutes anyway. My next video comes on in 16 minutes, and I've learned if I talk too much over that, it ends up affecting my views. So we'll shut down in a few minutes, but we'll go for a little while longer if you'd like. It's funny. I always think I'm going to get on here and do 2 hours, and it's like that seems like such a long time, but the time flies when we get on here. Yeah, I got basically the whole Bond collection too. There's a stack of DVDs about that thick that have my James Bond stuff. Yeah, I don't dislike Sean Connery. He's great too. Even the guys that came after him. But yeah, I think it's Roger Moore right now. Austin Powers. I bought that hoping, I bought all three of them hoping I'd enjoy them, but I don't know. I like, I like the actor. It's just, I didn't really like it. There's just everything about him was like repulsive. I'm glad you shared your story with the world, Celia. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, that is a good name for a autobiography of James Bond. My word is my bond. Yeah, we got to remember also that a lot of the James Bond books, were created back in those days, so it was kind of a different kind of world in those days, and people like that were more formal. Yeah, that was I think probably one of the first scary movies I ever saw in the movie theater, and I had nightmares about that for weeks afterwards. I was afraid to get into the shower after watching Jaws. That's still one of my favorite movies. Because the horror in that and the tension and all that, it's such a great movie for that. And even though I can look at the shark now, it's like, oh man, that looks so fake. Thanks, Jeff. I hope the job situation works out well too. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to go take a seminar over at the Texas Workforce Place. They have a few seminars just like on different subjects, like I think working on your resume and making first impressions. And you know what? It's free, so I'm going to do that. I guess I forgot about that episode of Star Trek, but I guess so. I guess that's the first time Genghis Khan. That isn't the first time, or I guess that it wasn't that Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure wasn't the first time that Abraham Lincoln and Genghis Khan were in the same movie together. Yep, that is the very first drumhead. That's the one that you signed for me, Jordan. Yeah, I found that when I unloaded the locker, and I said, "Okay, that's got to come home. That's going on the wall." Yeah, one of these days I'll do a close up on that. Jordan signed that. Well, actually, the whole band signed it for me, so that's kind of cool. So I got uh, Michaels and Johns and Jordans, and I think it was Hale at the time. Hale was the drummer at the time. Thanks, Butterfly 23. I'm glad you enjoyed seeing me on Jordan's vlog. I love doing those. That's a lot of fun. Learned everything I know about being a vlogger by watching him. So stick thing in the corner behind me. I'm assuming you mean this thing. I talked to you about that on one of my first vlogs. One of my neighbors made it for me when they found out I was leaving. And it's a really nice walking stick. You'll have to go back and check it out because I talked about it on, I don't know, one of the first couple of vlogs I talk about it. Might even be like the first one. So yeah, go check that out. Yeah, as for what's going on in world politics, I'm just going to kind of wait and see. Don't really want to talk about that here. Just want to kind of stay away from politics. Politics is one of those things. Thanks, Jordan. I got to go try pizza in Morosa. Politics is just one of those things that divides people into parts. I don't like that. So, yeah, maybe I will go have pizza for pizza on Jordan tonight. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate that. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the first one because it seemed to me I was kind of just all over the road on that first one because I had no idea what to do. But it's definitely one of the first couple. Yeah, there's actually a story about all this on there. So, like I said, I went over it in detail in that first vlog and told the story of all the little pieces and all that, and so it's all there. And I don't even remember all the details, so I got to go back and maybe watch it again and remind myself because I did it right after she gave it to me, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I got to talk about this. And yeah, I'm kind of watching something vegetarian too. It might be a troll. I don't know. It was a weird comment to begin with. Yeah, well, I don't know. As long as he kind of stays off politics and agrees to go with it, you know what? I'll see what happens. Thanks, Jeff K. I appreciate that pizza tip money. Thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who super chat, and thank you to everyone who just watches. I'm still baffled that anyone watches any of this. So you know, the thing that keeps it going is the fact that I keep seeing the kind comments for all the videos, and you guys keep coming in here and talking and saying nice things on the live streams and all that. So yeah, I really appreciate it. I read all the comments and all that, and that's what keeps this all going. So thank you so much for watching. I can't say that enough. I know I say that at the end of every episode, but it's not enough. Yeah, we try and play the clean and wholesome role. It seems, I learned a long time ago that, yeah, okay, I swear from time to time, but um, it doesn't get you anywhere. That kind of thing just makes you angry. When you get angry, you don't think clearly, and whatever. I tried any new hobbies since I moved that you wouldn't have tried otherwise. Um, I did a watermelon festival with a guy that doesn't like watermelons, and I never would have thought I would have tried that. I can't even say I wouldn't have tried the climbing tower because I have done that before. But that was actually Jordan what inspired me to go do the Dr. Pepper Museum a few days ago. I figured, well, if Jordan can go to a watermelon festival and hate watermelons, I guess I can probably go to a Dr. Pepper museum, even though I hate Dr. Pepper. And it was fun. I'm actually glad I did. That was fun. That was a fun vlog to do. Should have almost turned that one into two vlogs. That was a long one. But you'll see that, that's what happened with today's vlog and tomorrow's vlog, which is going to be coming up in a few minutes. Yeah, we're a few minutes out. You're going to find out anyway. So what I did yesterday is I went to the Cameron Park Zoo. A lot of people have talked about that. And I figured, you know what, yesterday was a good day to do that. And fortunately, I got so much content out of that that I actually turned it into 2 vlogs. So the first one goes live in about 6 minutes, and then you'll have to wait till tomorrow for the next one. And then I did a restaurant vlog today, which will be up on Tuesday. You'll have to wait to see what that's all about. But I'm going to wrap this up in a couple minutes. I usually like to go to the 2 hour mark, and we're about 5 minutes from that now. And I kind of want to end before, the next video goes live, because if I talk too much into that, then it interferes with my first hour numbers, and all of a sudden YouTube saying, yeah, this video is not performing like usual. Yeah, I know, because all my viewers are watching my live stream. So anyway. Yeah, that's it exactly. Sometimes you find fun places where you least expect them. And I am going to hit the, I am going to try and, hit the silos, the Magnolia silos for Chip and Joanna games at some point. Oops. Okay, our resident troll slayer has slayed another troll. Like I said, he must have said something else. I didn't see what the next comment was, but I did. But he did post something, and Jordan killed it. So that's fine. It slipped past me. I didn't even see it. I don't even care. Time to go back to his own planet. Yeah, well, maybe he can get something vegan there. Yeah, it's good having Jordan be my resident troll slayer. It comes in handy a lot. Yeah, that would be pretty cool to get an interview with Chip and Joanna. I've been actually thinking I got to go run back up the highway a little bit and see if I can get a picture of that. Those 2 billboards I mentioned on the Escaping the Pods people vlog about a week ago. Got to get it before they tear that down. Back to the tribbles. How are my folks? My folks are doing well. My mom is, like I said, her situation's been stable and improving for the last 2 years. In fact, when I was there a week and a half ago, they were when I was there a week and a half ago, I was surprised how much more active and how much more up and about my mom was. My father, like I said, he was. The main issue with me having to be there is my mom isn't to the point where she can deal with everything yet. She can't drive, so she can't go to the grocery store. She can't really get out of the garage to do laundry, stuff like that. So she just kind of needed someone to be kind of domestic help, and that's what I was. And my father, he's been improving very, very quickly. Like I said, he came home the day before I went home, and was already back on solid food. He's eating normally now. His energy levels coming back. He's still not 100%, but he's getting there. He's driving his car a lot now. He's able to get in and out of bed and all that. And so he's improving. He sent me a text last night thanking me and thanking you for all of your kind thoughts. He's really pleased and really grateful to see all your thoughts and prayers for him. So please continue that. He appreciates that a lot. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's what I figured it was, Jordan. Anyway, my vlog is about to go live in about a minute here, and I would like you to go watch all that now. And I just hit the 2 hour mark. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, Jordan, for troll hunting for us. And I'll see you in a minute on today's vlog. Good night, everyone.